Okay, so today we're going to discuss thoughts here on TSW4. If you've been watching some of the streams, you probably heard what I've had to say so far. But we'll kind of drill down on some things as we do some actual runs here. Right, almost ready to go here. Alrighty. Alright, so starting off with the most obvious thing, this new soundtrack, very, very good. I'm happy with that for sure. I think the soundtrack gives the game a lot more kind of presence, makes it a lot more regal. So I'm definitely happy with that. I know some people are like, maybe they should have spent more money on the game instead of, but I actually think it's a good touch. Alright, so while we do this run here, we're going to test out the Harlem line to see how it plays on the updated version. We haven't done that yet. And as we go through here, we'll just talk about some more things as we get into it. So I'm talking, and this will be from a console perspective, as we have been playing this on the PS4 at the moment. I don't know if I'll move it to the PS5. I do have enough storage on my PS5 that I could move it over there, but I like the way it is on the PS4. Also gives me a reason to power up the PS4 more routinely. So yeah, I don't see it changing anytime soon. Alright, we're going to operate a local train from North White Plains to Grand Central. This is about an hour and change. Let's put our safeties on. They're like telling us to go there already, but nothing's been set up, so it's going to take a little bit of time here. Let's move. We have to move this into max brake. Now we can charge the brake. While we do that, let's turn lights on. There are some tunnels that come in here. The lights will go off. I like working this with my cab light on. Okay, leave that door like that. Brake should be fully charged. Alright, let's move. Alright, so first things first. Game definitely looks amazing. A lot of the issues that we see long ago, draw distances, shadows, things like that, have all somewhat been rectified for the most part. There is a very good sound, at least from what I've seen so far. Some people were complaining about certain sounds on different versions, but from what I hear, things sound very good. What else? we have things that do work compared to things that were a little wonky before. I have seen some issues around, and especially in some of the scenarios. I've had issues with some of the safety systems on the European train package that came through the Austrian train. So that part's been a little bit, of a thing, but that's not an uncommon situation that we've seen or haven't seen before, right? As I mentioned earlier, this is from a console perspective. So one of the cool things that we got is we actually have lights now that work here on our controllers. So it tells us what the light ahead is. So right now it's yellow. Once we pass this point, it's going to become red. So we'll see that in a second here. Letting us know that we have a stop ahead. So with this line, we are supposed to blow the horn. So we'll do that. And then once we cross this point, I'll show you that it now switched to a red color. I actually saw these trains yesterday. So now you'll see that it's red. Okay, so stuff like that. It's been pretty cool. We never had that before. We also do have some haptic feedback in the control as well, which is a nice feature to have for console players. Makes the game feel a little bit more realistic and gives you, a better experience overall. Alright, so we're pulling into North White Plains. After we leave North White Plains, we'll head to the White Plains station. This is a local train, so I have a feeling we'll be making all of the stops here. So we're going to braking, and we're going to open the doors here. It's open. I remember on this line they do require that you blow the horn as you come into every station. So, all right. So we're actually early. What I'm gonna do is when we get a little bit close to the time, I'll start to close the doors. I'm trying to stay ahead here. So if we take a look at what they're asking us to do, White Plains Track, Hartsdale, Scarsdale, Crestwood, Tuckahoe, Bronxville, Fleetwood, Mount Vernon, Wakefield, Woodlawn, Williamsbridge, Botanical Gardens, Fordham, Tremont, Melrose, Harlem, and then Grand Central. So it's literally every stop here. So it's about an hour and change. Right. When the game first came out, the kind of traditional HUD things that you're seeing now weren't there. There was an update about 2 or 3 days ago. Actually, no, around Tuesday. And that's when we downloaded it, at least. And with that update, we got a new, or at least the HUD automatically appeared. Now you can turn it off if you want to. This is a train that you can drive it without it, and it's going to be pretty easy to see where everything is. But that's an option. That was actually pretty interesting. Kind of forced you to pay a little bit more attention here, but then you miss some cues ahead. And as just to show for reference here, we showed the yellow and the red. Now we have the green there as well. All right, so I'm going to close the doors now. This way we'll be on time. Have the brakes released. Start moving forward. All right, next stop is the White Plains track. Looks like we have 30 marked for us ahead. So we'll get to about 25, let it coast. Track looks pretty level at the moment, so we don't have to worry about any those things. Just click the alerter just in case. Alright, we have a flashing green, which means that it's going to be yellow past that. Again, we're going to try to stay on time with this one. Shouldn't be too difficult, but there tends to be a lot of traffic on these lines. They actually had to shut down one of the Metro North lines yesterday because there was a lot of rain over the last 2 days, and somebody's property retaining wall collapsed onto one of the tracks. It was mainly on the Hudson line, so a little bit different from where we are here. But yeah, these things have been happening. Alright, so far we discussed the music, right? Nice improvement. Again, mentioned some issues that had come up with sound that I haven't had any issues, but I've seen some people popping up here and there. I haven't really been on the forums as much as I used to be, just because it's just a lot of complaining. So I've not really visited them as much as I used to. We also have been seeing, again, this is a fall scenario right here because we are in New York in October. You actually see some good changes in the colors of the leaves. So you have some foliage happening here. It's telling me we're cleared up to 50. So I'm just going to put a little bit of power in, but we're stopping up here. And remember, on this line, they do want you to blow the horn as you're coming into the stations. We mentioned the haptic feedback as well. Haptic feedback is actually a nice little addition to this as well. And finally, we have some color for console players here, especially for PlayStation, where the color of the signal ahead actually appears on your controller, which is a nice little addition. Doors open. Right. So, in addition to all of those things, we have actually experienced a smoother amount of gameplay, I would say. I haven't put all the DLC on that I have, so I haven't really seen any major slowdowns at the moment as far as loading. But when I put all of the content on, we'll see if that changes. That was an issue before. Alright, doors are closing. And we're going to start to head out. We're green ahead. Line speed is coming down to 35. Alright, next stop is Hartsdale. So if you're familiar with this area, you'll know this is White Plains, downtown White Plains. Over there, that parkway there that's running underneath is the Bronx River Parkway, which has been flooded a lot lately with all the storms and things. Really getting beat up here by weather in the last few years. Things that never flooded are always flooding now, or things that didn't flood as severely are more severe. But some of that's also due to a lot of construction that's happened in the area, people moving or rerouting some water resources as they start to build more. So seeing all those things happening now around here. All right, as I mentioned on one of the Metro North lines, the Hudson line, that there was a wall collapse, a retaining wall collapse onto the tracks the other day. They had to cancel a bunch of trains. People were complaining about having missed their appointments because they were supposed to have shuttle buses and then shuttle them to other trains, but then those trains were canceled, and just a big mess. But yeah, we've seen this with 3 as far as foliage is concerned. But with the new game engine, it actually does look a lot more. You see a lot more present in the colors that are there as well. .65 is what we're cleared to at the moment. And hopefully we can maintain this 65 for most of this trip. So that was full. Just clicking the alerted just in case. And we're continuing down here. Right, this is Hartsdale. Stop here. Let's take a look outside. Here we have Hartsdale. I'm going to try to stay early. I know towards the back end of this, as we get into Grand Central, is going to slow us down a lot because the track speeds completely like drop. Hey, I'm doing well. How is it going today? We've been talking about some of the things that we like about this version for a console player. Just a quick rundown of the things I've covered so far. I like the new soundtrack. It's been nice. For PlayStation players, we got some haptic control here. And then we have some colors that were been added for the signals ahead. The timetable, please. Okay, so this is what we have left here. Scarsdale, Crestwood, Tuckahoe, Bronxville, Fleetwood, Mount Vernon West, Wakefield, Woodlawn, Williamsbridge, Botanical Gardens, Fordham, start to close the doors, Tremont, Melrose, Harlem, then Grand Central. Okay. Alright, moving on. Scarsdale's next. Here. So yeah, hopefully that's what you're looking for. Just the full schedule there. Pulled it up on the little mini screen a second ago. But that is the full thing. Let's get out of here. Alright, so Scarsdale's next. Actually, distance between these two stops isn't that great. Actually pretty close. So they're still holding us to about 65, which is good. I'm gonna come down to 60 there in a second. Alright, Scarsdale coming up next. Start slowing down here. Alright, again, they do expect you to sound the horn as you come into these tracks, so you'll be hearing that a lot if I remember. I'm trying to remember exactly where the Scarsdale. Stop it. Okay, yes, I do remember it is. So I'm thinking of where Route 22 is, and then where this one is in reference to that. Doors open. A train coming in, heading north as we head south. See, like, that's actually what those trains really sound like, so the part's actually pretty good. But I know that they're pretty well versed with these particular trains, as they've done multiple lines here throughout the life of their games in general. So, as you can see, we're a little bit early, so we've been waiting just a bit, which is not bad. Moving on here. Alright, 2.2 miles to Crestwood. Now, this Crestwood station is another one that, in real life, I'm like, where exactly is this one? I have a feeling the Crestwood one... If we're on the the Bronx River Parkway, this Crestwood station... I have to look it up on the map. I'm trying to place them all and just having trouble. Because some of them are kind of hidden from like the main areas. But usually, like, I've been to certain restaurants that have been close to where these are. And then, you know, as you're driving around, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there's the elevated track, or there's the little... A lot of times they do little tunnels to get you from one side to the other, and the tracks will run above in a lot of these sections. They don't have a lot of level crossings on this side of their trains, which is actually a good thing. It decreases the chances of having accidents. Alright, so with our positive train control, we're still moving here. Get to this light, start to brake. Kill the speed too much. Still want to get there in a reasonable amount of time. Alright, less than 2,000 feet. Start braking. Doors open. All-inclusive holiday to Barbados. Go up here and see. Alright, so about 30 seconds here. Start closing the doors. Alright, here we go. Tucko, track 4 next. Moving in here. Tucko. About a minute. Just go. Doors open. Good. Oh, good amount of time. Alright, so we have about a minute here. Other things here, as you can see, has been pretty smooth as far as gameplay. Occasionally I see like a little stutter here and there, but the stutters have definitely gotten better than they were in prior versions, so that's been nice. Yeah, I mean, it's been consistent with some of the new lines. The scenarios are actually much better. They're actually a lot more challenging and a lot more interesting, and even some of them have been more fun. So that's been nice. Let's lock the doors here. So I'm breaking it out. Still green ahead. So set this to 40 and go. Bronxville's next. I do know where the Bronxville train is for sure. I actually was there yesterday. A lot of times I park by it when I go to do things in that area. I didn't realize the Tucko was that close to it. That's interesting. Right, brakes in. Actually, when I was near this track, near the station yesterday, there was a train heading to Manhattan that was actually in the station. So you park right off to the right over here. And there's actually a little bus stop there as well. Right, doors open. So this is Bronxville. That building over there is actually a hospital. And yesterday, yeah, that's the hospital. My dad's been in the hospital there, so I went to go visit him yesterday. And usually I park my car right over here. So that is legitimately where I was parked yesterday. Crazy. Alright, door's locked. Let's go. Try to make up some time here. Fleetwood's next. Alright, so here we are heading into the Fleetwood track. After Fleetwood, we have Mount Vernon West. They've actually been putting a lot of buildings around this area as people have been moving from New York City to a section of Westchester. Alright, let's see. Now these train signs were working in the last one, I believe. Look how nice those are. Yep, they captured a lot of these things correctly out there as well. Alright, we'll be closing the doors here in a few seconds. Alright, moving to the next one. Next stop is Mount West. I would like to see them add the New Haven line so that we can get other trains that come from New York and go to Connecticut on this one. I believe that it is actually on Train Simulator. And I've also played the Hudson line on Train Simulator. Not sure if there are any City Skylines players out there, but new version comes out this week. I've seen some people streaming accessing things. They gave it to a lot of streamers early. So we're gonna have a 45 coming up when we come out of this station. And to our right, you see again Bronx River Parkway. So that keeps like coming and going as we do these sections. That's Yonkers over there, and over here to our right is Mount Vernon. So Yonkers there, Vernon here, and then we're about to leave Westchester County and go into New York City as we enter the Bronx here in a second. There's the doors now. Continuing ahead, green ahead. So yeah, this river recently has been flooding a lot more than it ever used to. They did actually move some things around it, so I think that might also be contributing. And they keep building new buildings around, so it's definitely diverting a lot of stuff. Alright, next one's Wakefield. Once we cross into Wakefield, we are officially in the Bronx and in New York City. So our next one is Woodlawn. It's a very popular cemetery. A lot of famous people have been buried there. A lot of people wonder why it's called the Bronx. It was actually land that was owned by a farmer whose last name was Bronx. And so name came, it was Broncs, if I remember correctly. Now we have an X at the end of that. And they refer to the land, aka the property, as the Bronx, as it belonged to the Bronx family. The city that we have just passed through, Mount Vernon, was called Mount Vernon because it was named after George Washington's home. There's a site in the town of Mount Vernon where George Washington supposedly spent the night. And when I was in elementary school there, the school that I went to for a while was called George Washington Elementary School, which has since been renamed. To be honest, Denzel Washington to be the most recent president. So yeah. Okay, after Woodlawn, let's see if I remember this correctly. I think it's Williamsbridge. Yes, okay, good. So we're at 45 now, about to 60 and 75. Okay. Alright, starting to rain. We do have dynamic weather on, so which is about right for this time of year because it was actually raining for 2 days the last few days. Today we have a nice sunny day, but it's a little cloudy and it's windy. Once we stop, we will turn on the wipers. This is actually pretty appropriate for what we are experiencing in New York right now. Ooh, we got thunder too. A lot of these sections over here are actually pretty buildings, at least over the last few years. This is Williamsbridge. Doors open. It's a little early. It's like, how do you stay on time in a busy city? Close the doors early. Alright, Botanical Gardens next. This is actually the New York Botanical Garden that we're going to be stopping the location for. On this section, we also have a zoo. Every borough in New York City has their own zoo. This one's the Bronx Zoo. This one is the largest zoo. Botanical Garden, I believe we have Fordham Road. Yeah, I think it's Fordham Road and Tremont's after that. Fordham, yep, Fordham, then Tremont. Okay, Melrose, and then Harlem. As we cross into Harlem, we have to slow ourselves down. It's pretty good. So far it is actually impressive. They've done a lot of work on it. For console players like myself, we have some haptic feedback that they've given us as well, and we also have the signal colors for the signals ahead that come onto the controller. The soundtrack's actually been really good. I mentioned, yeah, overall, it's actually been a good kind of upgrade. They changed the gaming engine, so you have a lot better visuals. Things move a lot smoother in the game as well. Loading times are much quicker. So they've done a lot, but it's actually been good. And then all of the content, if you have it already, yes, it is definitely worth changing. I definitely recommend it. What console or system are you playing on? And all of your data ports over from 3 to 4 if you're staying within like the same console family. Okay, so are you playing it on both? But yeah, I think it's definitely worth it, especially on the next gen systems. It looks much better. And now again, you're getting haptic feedback, which you can't get on 3. So when you put something into gear or you select something, you actually feel it in the controller. So nice change. So right now, as I'm like selecting the setting that I want to break in, I can feel it change. Gives you a little bit of reinforcement that it's actually doing it right. Yep. Yeah, just for like I said, just for the haptic feedback alone, where you actually can feel, the track changes, and you can actually feel when you select something, you get a little feedback that you actually haven't selected. All those things definitely make the change worth it. Yeah, no worries. But like, look, you could see now like the green light to tell me that the track ahead is green. Like we didn't have stuff like that before. It doesn't exist in 3. Alright, next stop is Tremont. That was Fordham. I remember riding the subway and we stop at East Tremont. This is East Tremont Avenue, but it's all the way on the other side of Tremont. 75 is where we're cleared to. Good. Gonna get close with the rain. Sure, we just had a little bit of slippage a second ago, so I don't want it to not be able to stop. So we'll coast it out. We had 2 minutes to get there, so gotcha. Yeah, I mean, they've added a lot of things that you don't have in 1, 2, or 3, and I actually do think that it's worth it. I mean, you can turn a lot of this stuff off, but with the new game engine, the game actually does look and respond a lot better as well. I know a lot of people tend to get disappointed with them though, but I don't know. I actually deleted 3 this week because I was waiting. Get a little hesitant, see if it's actually worth it. But then, from what I've been playing, and there hasn't really been a delay, at least on my end, moving content over. It's been worth it. this. If you're trying to get off at this one, it looks like they want you to be towards the front of the train, people. So if you're trying to exit and get off at this stop, please move towards the front of the train. Doors open. Next, I believe, is Melrose, and then we go into Manhattan. 2 stops in Manhattan after Melrose. Yeah, but I would recommend looking at. There's a few kind of like content difference comparisons, and I think that you can look at those, and that'll help you make a decision as well. I got it on sale though, so it did save me a little bit, because there was like a PlayStation Plus deal on it when I got it. I didn't pre-order though, and I didn't get like deluxe or anything fancy, because I pretty much have most of the content that I want. It was like it didn't come with, I think it came with a map that I didn't really want to buy, and some trains that I could buy later if I really wanted them. So I just got the standard edition, and I already have like 90% of the DLC from 3. Which I am glad that they've been just letting you port the DLC over instead of having to rebuy it. So that would be a catastrophe. And as you can see, this dynamic weather has been something that was in 3, but it seems to be a little bit more enhanced, if you will. I would even say aggressive, because we literally started off with a beautiful day when we got into this timetable. This is sometimes how things end up, especially this time of year in New York City. A little bit of relief from the rain here. Seconds. This is Melrose. After Melrose, we head into Manhattan. Now there's some super restrictions because that bridge is really old as we head into Manhattan. So we'll be dealing with that. Let's take a look very quickly here. There are 4 tracks here, and we are on track 4. Come on, load these people. Let's go. Doors closed. That green. Excellent. Let's go. Alright, this is going to slow us down a lot. So, we're giving us 4 minutes to get there, but we're going to get some crazy speed restrictions as we go across this bridge. This is the 135th Street Bridge, if I remember correctly. It's pretty ancient, so you have to go very slowly across it. Okay, what just happened? A little speed suggestion just disappeared. Right, so we're gonna cross the bridge here. If you check out the Discord, I actually have pictures of this bridge. Picture section. If they're not in the picture section, they're definitely in the train sim section. Here we had a little stutter. So that's the 135th Street Bridge. It's 225th Street. Weather really went into the crapper on this one. Okay, door opens. This is 125th Street. Here's Harlem, Little Manhattan. They act like they couldn't actually walk by the family there for a second. It's weird. Alright, last stop is going to be Grand Central. They're giving us 11 minutes. Again, usually that's because they're going to slow us down to a crawl eventually as we get into the tunnel. Try to make this happen in a reasonable amount of time. Pretty nice. Alright, we're going to get to about 40. Alright, heading into Grand Central. Should be losing speed as we have a slight, there we go. Like we should be coming down, not going up still. Alright, so now they're gonna bring us down to 45, which probably means we're changing tracks. This is always my favorite part of this ride, just because it's just like straight shot, no more stops, just get us out of here. But usually once you get into Grand Central, the speed restrictions are so low that it still feels like it takes forever. Here we go, Park Avenue. And now we are heading through the tunnels here. So we're already below 45. We should get an alert there. Yep, we're ready. 60 is going to come up again. These little tunnels here. This is one of the reasons we have speed restrictions here. These tunnels are very old and very narrow. And they don't want you to have a situation where your train starts bouncing and potentially cracks this foundation here. So take our time. I'm going to actually bring this up from dim to bright, and we can turn the wipers off now. Trying to keep this in a reasonable range here. Okay. Now if we get bumped up to 60, that's actually great, because we can fly for a little bit before we get to 10. We're actually almost at our stop. Stop that for the... Okay, so I think 19,000 points was the cutoff for gold, and we're at 23,000. So we should be okay with the gold here. Again, at some point, they're going to want us to come down to 10. It's coming out. Oh, there we go. It's going to start to slow us down. Sometimes it like steps you down slowly. So it's like 45. It's like 20, 35 and 20. I have 8 minutes. I just want to be on time. See how it's stepping us down? So we're still clear to 60, but we are actually in the monitoring mode at the moment. Turn this all the way up. Let's turn this all the way up. We can see it a little bit better. There we go. 30. That's about 15 if I remember correctly. Yep. Got it. Sounds like some other train was like flying by. It was, yep. Oh my goodness. I've never seen them give somebody a speed that fast to get out of here. Definitely never gave that to me. I always like we're crawling out of this place. It's like motorcycles were going by. Let's go. Five minutes here. I think the only way you don't have to blow the horn at when you come in is this station. It's underground. We are almost there. We still have a good amount of time ahead of us, so it's not horrible. I think we can use any of these now. Touchscreen doesn't work. We're still at announcements to this one too. We did with the Scottish train. So, like I said, I've been slowly adding DLC from the other game mode. It's kind of sad that it takes like 11 minutes to do this part, but it's because this station's so old and they didn't really build it with great clearances. It's a minute early, so passengers can come off the train. Let me check this track here. Okay, so this is one that can go round about. So I'm going to look just in case they have to go around. Okay. Should be done. Just waiting for the game to register that we're done here. Outside. Had a lot of people on the train. Oh. All right, I think we got gold for sure because it was 19,000 points and we are well above that. Good. We were early, and I think if I remember correctly, this said it would take 118 minutes, and we did it 107, so that's actually good. I mean, 107, an hour and 7. But yeah, we're early. Beautiful. Most things we were on time. Some of them were in the beginning. We were like very early. Sometimes close to 2 minutes early. Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up. So yeah, as we were mentioned earlier, hey VJ, how's it going? How is TwitchCon going? Did you go to any events today? Vite is at TwitchCon. Okay, not yet today. Okay. How's it going though otherwise? I know you were saying that it was really warm out there in Vegas. Oh, cool. Did you take pictures with anybody? All right, cool. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna wrap up here. Thoughts on the game we mentioned throughout the stream, things that I really like for console players. This new lighting system here on the PlayStation, where you can see what your uh, light is gonna be at the next signal. We have haptic feedback, so the controller is actually giving us a lot of feedback while we're playing, letting us know if we're actually putting inputs in and if those inputs are being recognized. Not just the sound alone, but actually the feeling is also nice. I like the new soundtrack. Um, the game engine's actually very good, works very well. So far, I haven't had any issues when I've moved the older content over. Someone was asking earlier if it's worth buying. I would say yeah, it's definitely worth the purchase. Right. All right, Vite. You could whisper me if you want to chat for a little bit, but otherwise, I'll chat with you on the Discord a little bit later. Anybody else? Thank you for stopping by. This week, we're going to try to also try out Bus Sim. It's been crashing on PS4, so I've moved it to the PS5. See how that turns out. There's a little bit of issue with my profile. It doesn't seem like my profile was being updated properly. So my profile is mentioned a 2022 profile, but I played the game a few times this year. So we're going to see if that how that works out. All right. So on that note, let's see who we will raid. Yes, yes, yes. I'll chat with you later. Let's see. Can go and hang out with Spy Flight. All right, so we will see everyone hopefully on Tuesday. Check out how that game is responding on the PS5 Bus Simulator, and catch everybody later. Stay safe. Have a good night.